What do you think, your opinion, the top public safety issues should be if you could pick?
Without a doubt. It's not global warming, it's not climate control. It is 100% drug addiction right now, drug addiction and how we deal with it. I think I have a solution and I'm going to share it with you. I've shared it with some public officials before. I haven't seen anybody enact it yet. But think for a minute if we had a corrupt police force. That would be a bad thing. And obviously we try and weed that out. But the answer isn't, trying to get rid of everybody now. That's impossible. You can't fire the whole police force. It's with the recruits and in the training in the school. Can we change their mindset so that when they come in and we weed out the bad guys, we have a clean system? So here's what I think we need to do. I think we need to put counselors in the schools, in junior high and high schools, maybe even middle school, so that once every 2 weeks, a student is meeting with, it's a therapist, it's a counselor, with their issues. Now, this won't save everybody, but Sean, the key that I learned in rehab is to learn why I was doing drugs. Once I understood why I was isolating myself and choosing to behave this way, it was easy to see. Now there are some that have experienced tremendous trauma, emotional trauma, abuse. Okay, they may require more therapy than just knowing why or just seeing. For most of us, it was things that happened as kids in our childhood that we got feelings of low self-worth, low self-esteem, feeling less than. Even me, you see me today, I was always this way. I'm outgoing, I'm a type A personality. Still inside, I felt worthless and rejected, and deep down, subconsciously. And what brought that on? In ninth grade, I was absent 91 out of 180 school days. 90. I would tell my parents both worked. I would tell them I didn't feel good. Oh, I'm sick, my stomach, my head, my teeth. And my mom, typical Jewish mom, oh, poor Jackie, oh, poor kid, stay home and feel better. Very blessed to have wonderful, loving parents. Very blessed. But I was isolating myself before I ever picked up a drug. Before I ever picked up a drug. So why? Why? Well, when I went into rehab, I learned in counseling some of what my issues were, and they were, low self-esteem and self-worth, and I was able to see those. And once I saw them, I said, you know what? I don't need to deal with this with drugs anymore. Now, here's the key, Sean. This is the key. Okay, it's not your fault. When you're a little kid, a baby and a little child, your mind is building up defense mechanisms to protect you from feeling pain. It's doing its job. But the problem is sometimes we don't need those anymore. And the example would be a little kid, a baby in diapers. That's a great thing. At 10 years old, 12 years old, 20 years old, we don't think you should need diapers anymore. A little kid on a tricycle, wonderful. You're learning how to ride. At 20, 30, 40 years old, we think you take the training wheels off and you'd be riding the bike. So sometimes we don't know that to stop these defense mechanisms, our mind is thinking it's protecting us. And that's the big lie of addiction. I'm your friend. I understand you. I protect you. Nobody understands you. Everybody's hassling you. Look at the stress you're under from the world. Your boss, your wife, your friends. Come to me. I'm your friend. I'll understand. But really, it's trapping you. So this understanding and this knowledge is eye-opening, and it's powerful. And it can change your whole world and perspective. And that's what did it for me. And that's why I tell people, you need to understand why. I love AA. I think it's a great program, and NA. And I've seen many people get sober there. There are many ways out of drug addiction. We'll talk about those. But sometimes if you don't get to the core of the issue of why you did it, you can stop using drugs or alcohol, but you're more miserable than ever. Why? Because you never got to the issue, and now you don't have the alcohol or drugs to cover it up and medicate you. We call that sometimes a dry drug. So it's very important that's the answer. So if we had counselors in the schools who were able to deal with these kids' issues before they turn to drugs to medicate and mask them, I think we would save a lot of people. So what would it cost? 50,000, 80,000 a year a counselor for 2 counselors in each school, 160 grand a year in each school. I mean, oh my gosh. It seems like a small investment to me compared to what we're paying in hospitals and crime, and it's just mind-boggling. So, and I say to people, I say, hey, test my theory. Come back, try it in one school, one time, and tell me there was no difference. Aside from that, I wouldn't know what to do except send everybody to rehab. And again, last thing, Sean, is if somebody doesn't want help and they don't want to stop using, rehab's not going to work. You may have that knowledge, but if you don't want, that's up to you. I mean, I would tell people to go anyway and hope the light goes off while they're in rehab. But, there's a lot of people who are court ordered, who are going for a parent or a spouse, not because they want to go, or a boss is making them go. They don't want to be in rehab. They want to keep using. So did I. I get it. But when I was ready and you were ready, when it took us to hit bottom, and the great saying is, you don't have to hit the bottom floor to get off the elevator.